All right, we're here. We are back. We are just over a week away from the Padres in Korea against the Dodgers on March 20th. This is a Monday night, a rare Monday night edition of the wrap up show. We typically do Sunday nights, but Jim had a 9-hour delay on his bachelor party weekend. So we are here on a Monday night. We'll be with you for the next hour or so. Reacting to a report in the UT this evening from Kevin Acee that the Padres are still interested in adding an outfielder, which begs the question, why haven't you added an outfielder if you're still interested in adding an outfielder? They've talked to Adam Duvall, Michael A. Taylor, Tommy Pham. But at this point, I mean, the plane is like on the tarmac. They're leaving in less than 48 hours.
Everybody's
So if they
packing
do
their
add,
bags.
yeah, if they do add Tommy Pham, it's not for Korea. It might be for the Giants series, but it's not going to be for Korea. So if you're here, please subscribe. You're on content for Padres fans, whether you're here live or on replay. You can smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for your super chats. Great way to support our work. Click the $ below the chat box. And thank you for memberships. If you want to click the join button down below. But I mean, what is taking so long? Are they really interested? We've heard about this interest, Jim, for like 100 days. What are they waiting for?
At this point, it doesn't even feel like something that should even be reported on. Like, they're not adding. And if they do, it's going to be after the Korea series as of right now. They're and maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're like, okay, we can go to Korea with what we have for just 2 games. And then we can potentially add somebody after that. But I mean, like we preached a lot to start last season, every game matters. Every game counts, especially with how close it feels like this race for a wild card spot is going to be this year without even seeing any games being played. It feels like there's like, what, 5 teams maybe all vying for 3 spots. And the cutoffs was last year was 84 wins. The year before that was, I think, 85 or 6. And so, these games are going to matter. I know that there's been a lot of talk in the past. It's like, oh, talk to me in June, talk to me in July. Like, no, I'm talking to you next week when they're in Korea. Like, these games are going to matter. What if they miss out by 1 game? What if they miss it by 2 games? And they viewed these Korea series as like, oh, we'll worry about adding to this roster after that. I don't know if it would help if they did, but at the same time, these games are going to go on the record, and they're going to start the season back here in the States at Petco Park with a record. So if you're going to add, you should have done it a little while ago. And I don't feel like they're going to now. And the only time I feel like they're going to add is going to be after Korea, if they even do.
Well, that's not even debatable. I mean, there's no, like, there is no player that they could add that they could be, have available in 9 days in Korea because of the plane leaving. Like, you'd have to get a physical. Like, I do not forecast that. I would be like shocked. That would be the most shocking development of an offseason where you've had shocking developments. So this is who they are. Like, this is the team. I mean, no matter what you think of the team, this is the team right now. Of course, it's going to change over the course of the season, and it could change by March 28th. So be it. But
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill, who had a huge day and all of a sudden has had a good spring, is going to be with Jurickson Profar in all likelihood, or someone like Jose Azocar or Machado in the outfield. And we don't know who's playing third base because Manny Machado isn't. He hasn't played third base this spring, so he's not playing third base, at least to start the season in Korea. We know who's pitching. We know Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove are pitching the first 2 games in Korea. So that's encouraging. But we don't know who the DH is. We don't know who the third baseman is. We don't know who the left fielder is. We presume the center fielder is Jackson Merrill. And Tommy Pham, Michael A. Taylor, Adam Duvall, they're not coming on the trip.
No, they're not. If they were to be going to Korea, they should have been signed by now.
Well, they're going to be fans. They're going to be in the stands with everyone else.
Correct. So this is what they got. This is what they got. And we're going to see it play out however it's going to play out. Today on John and Jim, I talked about like the Jackson Merrill situation with him is not very high on my concern list. It's still a concern because, I mean, it just is. And I think everyone knows the reasons by now. But as far as like ranking how high it's on my list, it's not even close to the top. It really isn't. There are way more things that I am concerned about with this team that take the top billing over, Jackson Merrill. One of them is the pitching staff. Another one is this. I mean, on paper, it potentially could be one of the worst benches in all of baseball. Seriously, and that's a concern. A little bit of the health of Manny Machado, just because is he going to be in the field or not? And once he's back in the field, like who's going to be their DH? Left field is a bigger concern to me than Jackson Merrill in center. And like I said, pitching as well. Like that to me is way more of an issue, and not an issue, but more of a concern than anything, because they have a bunch of unknowns. They have a bunch of unknowns, and they got two guys at the top of their rotation that they need to be really good this year that are coming off of injuries.
I need to find the article. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, there was an article AJ Cassavell wrote. He tweeted about it. This is going back 3 to 5 days, I want to say, where he talks about Merrill breaking in as the center fielder in the big leagues. And I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, here it is. Why Merrill could join elite company. In the past half century, only 2 players have started opening day in center field before turning 21. Ken Griffey Jr., Andrew Jones.
2 Hall of Famers.
So, yeah. So like you can,
not really.
You
Andrew
can say
Jones,
what,
but,
not, yeah. I mean, great career. So you can say whatever you want to say about Merrill and good spring and top prospect, but this is a rare feat. And not only is it a rare feat, he's doing it off position. I mean, really, arguably off like multiple positions, from short to left, and then all of a sudden a week into camp from left to center. And not to say he doesn't have a bright future in center field. He probably does. Hopefully he does, for Padres fans, sake. But he's trying to accomplish something that is a rarity. I mean, I'm sorry, like that's the ultimate rarity. So again, do I think he could have a good spring? Well, yeah, he's had a good spring. Could he have a good game? Yeah, of course he could. But the grind, what we're actually asking this kid to do, which is give you, I mean, minimum 500 plate appearances. That's nothing for a starter. I mean, that's absolutely nothing. That's not starting every single game. So 500-600 plate appearances in center field for a guy that starts the year as a 20-year-old out of position and contribute. Again, I've said it. I'll keep saying it. I think the odds are stacked against him being able to do that successfully for 162. Not for 1, not for 2, but for 162. So I just think they're putting a ton on his plate. And if it backfires, I'm not going to blame Merrill. I'm going to blame the Padres organization probably. So he's being put in a spot that not a lot of people have been put in, and saying, sink or swim, buddy.
Yep. And we're just asking the question, like there is concern there. I know the Merrill madness is a little out of control. I mean, let's be honest here. Like it's out of control from Darren made a good point today. Is Jackson Merrill the face of the Padres? Because it feels like he's the only player that's being talked about this spring. And we might play a role in that, but we're just going off of what is being reported on this team on a daily basis. And what's being reported on this team on a daily basis is Jackson Merrill, Jackson Merrill, Jackson Merrill, Jackson Merrill. I mean, it is like shoved down your throat, for better or for good or bad. I mean, if you're a fan, I mean, look, you want to see top prospects shine. You want to see them. You want to see them play because they're homegrown talent. But, it's not his team. He's a rookie. He's a 20-year-old rookie. And this team is not going to be made or, make or break because of what Jackson Merrill does this year. It's just not. If Jackson Merrill does well, that's just like a cherry on top, in my opinion. And he's probably going to have to do well because he's probably going to get, like you said, 500 plus plate appearances and probably be put in situations where he's going to need to come through with 2 outs or a runner on second with less than 1 out, or a runner on third, less than 2 outs. Yeah. Like he's going to have to come up in big moments. He just is. And can he do that as a 20-year-old? We're going to find out. And again, and one more thing too is, this. I mean, spring training is such a controlled environment. Everything about it is planned out. Everything is like, okay, you're going to play this day, and you're going to get 3 at bats, and then you're going to get a day off, and then you're going to play this on Friday, 4 at bats, and like it is such a controlled environment. When you get to the season, John, it's like, okay, every day, go, boom.
Yeah, I mean, I'll continue to say this. I have not changed my feelings on this. There is nothing that we can learn about Jackson Merrill in spring training, just like there's nothing to be learned from any player in spring training. Here's my point. There's no correlations made in spring training. You can be good in spring training, good in the regular season. You can be good in spring training, bad in the regular season. You can be bad in spring training, good in the regular season. All factors are possible. AJ Preller's the general manager of the team. He said himself right before the start of camp, spring training is not a good evaluator's tool. You don't evaluate players based on what they do in spring training. Everyone knows that. You know where you evaluate players? In games, professional games, AA, AAA, major leagues. So spring. I said it before the start of spring. I don't care if he hits or doesn't. I've said that repeatedly. It's not going to convince me one way or the other. I think the media narrative changes if he hits. If he hits, the narrative is he has to be on the team. If he doesn't hit, he can't be on the team. It doesn't change anything. It's 35, like you said, controlled plate appearances against some random reliever in AA in the sun of Mesa against the Chicago Cubs. It doesn't mean he's not great. It doesn't mean he is great. That's how I feel about it. It's got to be proven over the course of 80 plus games at the big league level. And maybe he can do it and make the jump immediately. Maybe it takes an extra year. It's not his fault. If it happens in 2025, that's still terrific. Yeah. If it happens in 2024, that's absolutely terrific. But to be skeptical of a guy that's never played above double A ball, 46 games above A ball in his career. He's 20. He's being shifted off position. And to say that this is easy and you guys don't know what you're talking about. This is going to be simplistic. Is probably wishful, is what it is.
Yeah, and guys like Andres in the chat, like, give me a fucking break. You guys are the biggest Jackson Merrill haters. You're not listening, bro. You're not listening. Okay. If you want us to literally pump up Jackson Merrill for having a good spring and say he's the next coming of Ken Griffey Jr., go somewhere else. You're not getting that here. You're getting actual conversation and discussion about the real concerns that this Padres team has, and evaluating Jackson Merrill on what he is, which is a 20-year-old rookie that has never played above AA.
But if you want to make, here's the deal. If you want to do the Griffey comp as a rookie, as a center fielder in the big leagues in 127 games and 506 plate appearances, he had a 748 OPS. This is Ken Griffey Jr., future Hall of Famer. Was he unanimous? I forget. But pretty
Griffey,
close.
no, he was not unanimous.
Okay,
I think he got like 98% of the votes, which is stupid.
Yeah, as good as you can be. Yeah. One of the great players in the history of the sport had a 748 OPS as a rookie, a 19-year-old, with the Mariners in 1989. Just proving the point that it's not some easy thing that's being asked of Jackson Merrill. I don't know if he's going to have a year like that, worse or better. All of it's possible. But it's not as simple as, well, he had a nice spring and they need a center fielder and he hit a home run today against the Mariners, so everything's fine. Maybe it will be. Maybe he goes 3 for 4 March 20th in Korea. Maybe he doesn't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a season. It doesn't make a career. My point's the long game, and I'm going to say that all year long. It's the long game with Jackson Merrill, and I'm just talking about 2024. And we'll see if he can help this team win or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, it's, I don't know. I mean, that comment in the chat is like, go somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, if you don't want us to.
Yes, if you disagree with John and Jim, we don't want you here.
No, I want you here, but to just say we're haters on Merrill, you're literally deaf and not listening to us. So again, I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, moving on about what Kevin Acee reported, like the outfield help that they need is just not going to be there. And so who's going to be the left fielder of this team on an opening day?
Yeah, Profar.
Okay.
Yeah. Just looking at Andrew Jones, by the way, his first year.
Do it. What did he do?
Andrew Jones' first year, which was only 31 games, 709 OPS. Second year, which technically was probably his rookie year, 153 games, 745 OPS. So no center fielder in baseball history that's broken in before the age of 21 has had an OPS better than 748.
What did Trout do in his first year?
Well, that half season he didn't do anything, right?
Before he got sent down, right?
I forget the complete circumstances, but his first year in 40 games, he had a 672 OPS. So next year at 963.
So basically what we're trying to say is to think that Jackson Merrill could have like an 820 OPS in his first year at the big leagues in center field
Maybe he
at
doesn't need
age
to.
20.
Maybe he doesn't need to. What did Grisham have? He was sub 700, so he could be the same player. Maybe,
But I mean, can't we do better? I mean, just do better than Grisham. I mean, that's a very low bar in my opinion.
It's a very low bar. I agree. And it's not like you're replacing Juan Soto with Juan Soto in left, by the way.
Right, you're replacing Juan Soto with Jerkson Profar.
With Jose Azocar. Yeah. I mean, how bad was Trent Grisham last year? He had a 666 OPS. Is that attainable? Yeah, probably.
And I said last year, like, get rid of Grisham. I was done with him, especially after that bunt with the bases loaded.
You were like so mad. Cut him.
And like, you can do better than Trent Grisham. Hopefully it's Jackson Merrill. Now the bar is extremely low. So if what did Grisham have last year? The OPS
666.
So if Jackson Merrill has a 686 OPS,
I mean, he hit 190. He hit 198.
Okay, so
that
if Jackson
shouldn't
Merrill
be hard to do.
If Jackson Merrill hits 210 with a 688 OPS, would you say that's upgrade?
Yeah, but the problem is I don't know if they're going to get a 950 OPS out of their left fielder.
That's a problem.
Which it wasn't, but you know my point.
Yeah,
man. Here's the other thing. I mean, everyone knows it if you've watched the wrap-up show. I say Marine Layer more than I say Jim in the first 2 months of the season. But if you're looking for a place to bail you out, it's not the National League West. It's not San Diego. It's not San Francisco, right? I mean, maybe it's Colorado for 6 games, which is what they play there this year. But you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting bailed out at home. Like, you can't hit in San Diego. It is as bad of a hitter's yard as there is in baseball. If it's not the worst, it's the second worst.
Well, the good thing about
routinely played out.
Well, I would say the good thing about Jackson Merrill is he's not a power guy. He's just not. I mean, I know he had a home run today, but he's not Juan Soto. He's not Fernando Tatis Jr. He's not Manny Machado. He's not a guy that I don't think can give you 35 home runs a year. I mean, he might get to that point. Not yet, but like as of right now, I don't view him as a power guy. I view him more as a gap-to-gap guy, and that's probably, plays well at Petco Park. I don't know. We're going to see. But maybe that works in his favor, that he is not a home run hitter per se to start out with, that he is more of a gap-to-gap guy, singles hitter, and just try to get on base as much as you possibly can. Yeah,
maybe. That's a possibility. I'm trying to think who would be in that like category of like not sheer power, but works at Petco. I mean, obviously, Ha-Seong Kim has become that player, I would say. I say Grisham's game would have lended to that. I never thought Grisham was going to hit 30 home runs either, and he had good speed. And I thought he should be a gap-to-gap hitter. He never hit here. But Ha-Seong Kim, I think, would be a good example of someone that doesn't only utilize power. In fact, rarely does.
I know we were kind of pushing for Luis Ariz to be traded here in this past offseason, but a guy like him, I think it would have worked great at Petco Park because he's an average guy, right? Like he hits for average. And Jackson Merrill's also a contact hitter. He is not a guy that, at least in spring training, that's like, he's not a guy that's going to be striking out a lot, knock on wood. All right. We'll see what happens in the regular season, but a guy that gets a lot of contact, I think plays well at Petco. And if he can make a bunch of contact, keep his strikeouts down, I think it could play well. Like, I'm not looking to have him hit 25 home runs, even though he's a center fielder. If he gave 10 to 12, I'd be fine with that. But as long as he hits like, has a good average and his OPS is, over 750. I know it's asking for a lot.
Yeah.
But just,
maybe
he gets to have a good on base percentage. Don't worry about slugging, get on base a bunch and be a singles hitter. I don't know. Gap to gap guy.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, he struck out 133 times in 881 plate appearances in the minor leagues in his career, which is a low number. And he's truthfully, he hasn't, of course, been a power. Like, he's not a power plus, right? Power hitter. Right. But he did hit 15 home runs in 114 games last year. That's not nothing for a guy that actually started last year as a 19-year-old before becoming 20 in late April. So he's shown some signs. He's hit 21 career home runs in 881 plate appearances, 800 ABs. That's one per every 40. He's hit a home run every 40 ABs. Which again in the minor leagues isn't anything to go crazy about. Like this guy's not a power hitter, especially considering his age. I'm with you on the contact. I mean, I think the contact could have value. They certainly don't need a guy that isn't a power guy striking out a ton. So hopefully he is not that guy. I saw someone in the chat said Merrill's a 55 power prospect. Like 50 is major league average. They're saying he projects to be above major league average in terms of power. Interesting. We'll see if that plays out or not. Is that based on his position? It'll be interesting to track. Again, I'm not going to cast judgment on him after the end of the year and be like, he had a 730 OPS, get rid of him. That's not the point at all. I'm just saying this year doesn't make a career. No. And they're asking him to be a contributor on a team that, isn't fully baked. So you need him to produce, and we'll see if he's capable of doing that or not.
But if he did have a 730 OPS this year and played like 148 games, I would consider that a success, honestly.
Probably. I agree. Probably true. It's going to be fascinating, man. I can't wait to see what it looks like. We're going to look up at the end of the year and be like, what did he do? Did he hit 20 home runs or did he hit 7? Did he hit 198 or did he hit 298? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. We're going to find out, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool that we are going to see it, but it's also worrisome that's like we are going to see it. And like,
keep in mind also, here's the one thing I will say about spring training that nobody has mentioned anything about. I mean, there's no scouting in spring training. They're not looking at his at bats and being like, this is how you get him out. I mean, if they are, it's very limited. They're not going in and watching his at bats and trying to figure him out at this point. You're facing the Cubs one time. You're facing the Mariners 2 times. I mean, it's and who's facing him is different every single game, for better or for worse. That's not to knock Merill at all. That doesn't take away from anything he's accomplished. But nobody has tried to put a book out on Merill at the big league level yet and said he has success here. Here's how you beat him. No. So when that happens, it's how do you adjust to wait? And by the way, once the book's out, we've all seen this. Look at Grisham. Look at Cronenworth the last 2 years. Once the book's out, you got to then go react and figure out another way to hit. Yeah. And we'll see if he's capable of doing that. And again, I just don't have the answers on that as of yet.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic point because there's going to be a lot of learning curves for him. And that's a big one, is once the book is going to be out on you, because it will eventually happen. It happens with everybody. There's nobody that can hide.
Right, and then they just take advantage of it. Like if you can't hit breaking pitches away, all you see is good breaking pitches away. If you can't hit fastballs in, all you see is fastballs in. It's the major leagues. These guys are elite. They don't make as many mistakes as you kind of think you do sometimes when they watch. It can be hard. I mean, we've seen it with players as good as like Fernando Tatis Jr. When he's not right, breaking pitches away, or Machado. I mean, you see it with some of the best have trouble. I say trouble. It can take a week, 10 days, 3 weeks to adapt when they're getting pitched to differently, and then they figure it out. But someone like a Trent Grisham can struggle for an entire year. It's not to call out Grisham. It's not, or Jake Cronenworth. It's just, it's hard to adapt in the big leagues when guys start figuring out how to get you out, right? So,
I mean, Machado's a Hall of Fame caliber player. Like, if he continues down this path, he will be a Hall of Famer. Guess what? Slider away. He can't hit that pitch. He can't hit that pitch. It's, I mean, and he's a Hall of Fame player. And so Jackson Merrill, once somebody finds out, and it could be as early as the Korea series, honestly.
Right. Well, maybe it takes a little bit of time. Maybe he proves to be, less flawed as a hitter. Again, guys that are contact hitters and don't have big swings and don't swing and miss as much, maybe it takes a little bit more time to figure out. But again, you know how data-oriented the sport is. I mean, basically guys are good in certain areas and bad in others, and they'll find it and they'll try to exploit it. And can he adapt when that happens? And hopefully the answer is yes.
Because what you hope for is that he starts out his career with a little bit of success, which would be fantastic for his confidence.
And then he's going to adapt.
And then they're going to adapt to him. And there's going to be a book, like you said. And then eventually he will go through a slump. It happens with everybody. He's not immune to it.
That's not a problem. Yeah.
And then how is he going to overcome not only that slump, but overcome how pitchers will be pitching him once they find out ways to get him out? And that's when we're going to see what Jackson Merrill really is.
Yeah, like my last point on Merill, and we can move on to another subject and get to Mark Nimitz, our title sponsor. Although I do think it's interesting, and people talk about it for a reason because they're interested. And he's like got a backup quarterback in him, and everyone wants the backup quarterback. And sometimes the backup quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, and sometimes the backup quarterback isn't. And we don't know as of right now who he's going to be. But my last point is also this: because he's 20, because he's only got 46 games at AA, I would have to look at his like all-time game log and every pitcher he's ever faced. Who even knows if he's ever faced a pitcher that's even 30 years old until this, other than spring training, like in professional baseball, other than spring training, he hasn't faced veteran, crafty carvers, if that makes sense. So it's not about velocity, but velocity is his own issue. Guys are going to throw 100 in the big league. But what happens when you face someone that is a good placer of pitches, that has a good repertoire of pitches and just knows how to flat out pitch? In single A, you're seeing raw prospects. You're seeing velocity. You're seeing talent, but you're not seeing craftiness. No. So how does he deal with guys with good changeups? Guys that don't throw 95 but place pitches well, that have good pitch selection. These are things that we're going to find out, in the days and weeks ahead. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. We can't do this without the support of Mark. He's the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. Listen, if you have any insurance need, Jim's been talking to him. I've got life insurance, homeowners, earthquake insurance through Mark. He can save you a lot of money just by switching your insurance. But in addition to that, he's a great insurance agent. You can take that from us. He just really is. Great service and communication, lifelong San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan, lives and dies with this franchise. He texts with us all the time about the Padres offseason moves or lack thereof. So you can get to his website by clicking the link in the description down below. You can see his website on screen right now. Whatever you need, you can get a free quote online or free quotes by calling him. Auto, home, renter's life, earthquake, whatever you need. Get in contact with Mark Nimitz, the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. If you support our work, if you support this channel, please contact Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, he's very timely with all of your needs, and he is great with getting you what you need. Go to his his website right here. Also, you can send his to his email address, mnimitz@farmersagent.com, to reach out to him. Mark is a fantastic insurance agent, and he will help you with all your needs. Go there right now, 858-866-8147, or email him, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. All his information, bottom of the screen there on the ticker. And when you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
When you were on your bachelor party on Friday, we had Kevin Acee on the show. Yeah. And he actually wrote about this after I asked him about it on Friday. And he said he was working on something. But
what was it?
It was about, is it going to be Musgrove and Darvish 2 times before anyone else starts?
Yeah.
Which it sounds like is what they're going to do. He asked that same question, and it isn't set in stone. They have not. The Padres have not said who will start that series against the Giants. You're still 2 weeks away, a little more, 17 days away from that series against the Giants. So that makes sense. You don't need to say anything. And we talked about today on John and Jim. So Darvish will throw game 1, Musgrove game 2. There's speculation now, well, then maybe Musgrove throws your Petco opener on March 28th, since he isn't throwing your season opener on March 20th. And then maybe Darvish throws game 2 on March 29th. It gives the Padres an advantage that other teams don't have other than the Dodgers, which is 4 starts out of your top 2 pitchers in your rotation to start the year. Nobody else can do that. Giants can't throw their top 2 pitchers twice in their first 4 games. So it sounds like they're leaning that way, and I'm all for it. I am all for it. But like we had a caller today, I think it was Matt on John and Jim, that said, listen, we can talk about this roster all we want, but if Musgrove and Darvish aren't healthy, it doesn't even matter. So you have to come at it from that positioning. Can you keep these guys healthy? If the answer is yes, I'm all for throwing them an extra 5, 6, 7 innings and giving them that extra start. It's just something to consider. Guys coming off injuries, pitching a lot early. I'm all for it, but they got to keep these guys healthy.
I 100% agree. They have to be healthy all year long.
Mm-hmm.
They have to both make 30+ starts. And I think getting out to a quick start would definitely behoove this team, especially after what happened last year, being the biggest embarrassment and disappointment in franchise history. So pitching them as many times as you possibly can, even though it's a little risky because they're coming off of injury, I kind of think you got to do. If you have the opportunity, you got to take it. You can't ease your way into this season. You just can't. You have to start out and playing some good baseball pretty quickly, because you know what's going to happen if they start the season like 10-15, right? Everyone's going to be freaking out, even though it's a long baseball season. But we'll be talking. I mean, you start the year 10-15, and it's like, oh, here we go again. That's why pitching them as many times as you possibly can to start the year, even if it's just 4 games, but you get 4 games with 4 games in a row with Darvish, Musgrove, Dart. Like, you got to do it because they need to get out to a good start. because with all the questions they have, with the embarrassing season that was last year, new manager, Preller, I guess on the hot seat, feels like it. You're in a season where you have to make the postseason. Yeah, you got to do it because these games matter, and you got to get out to a good start.
I was just curious. Has Musgrove pitched since his second blow up in a spring training game? I believe the answer is no.
Well, he pitched on like a backfield. He pitched like a minor league,
a B game.
A B game. He pitched like 4 innings or so.
So he's only pitched 2 times in a spring training game. He's gone 1 2/3 innings. And he's pitched in a B game. Is he going to pitch either Tuesday or Wednesday in the spring training game? I think he may. Does anyone know the answer to that? But is that not a little curious? You know, we haven't seen him.
He's not pitching tomorrow. Drew Thorpe is scheduled to pitch tomorrow. Musgrove is scheduled to pitch Wednesday.
Pitch Wednesday. Okay. So Wednesday, then you're a week out, 13th to the 20th. It makes sense. Just saying, we haven't seen him in a while.
He's 0-2 with a 43.20 ERA.
Yeah. And again, that's fine. The backfield stuff's fine. I don't care, but it is a little weird. Like if he left for Korea and those are his only 2 out, like he's only thrown an inning and 2/3 in spring training this year. Now, B-game, you could argue, okay, same thing, I guess. I think we were told he threw like 70-something pitches or 4 innings at some point. But like, I mean, here, I'll give you an over-under right now. Will Joe Musgrove throw 5 innings in Korea against the Dodgers?
I hope so.
I mean, I'd be shocked if it's more than that.
Like 5 1/3?
Again, just based on what I've seen, because he's coming off injury and he's pitched in 2 games and going.
I mean, depending on how the game goes, like what if they're up 7-0?
Well, they still, you would think, go 5 innings, right? But no, but you're right. They have these extra starters. Here's my point. I don't see it. I mean, I don't think these stars are going long in these games, is my guess, which is fine. You have the Kings and you have the Burritos and you have the Vasquezes and like whomever else.
Like, do you think they might treat it as like a
playoff game?
Not a playoff game, but like a spring training game on steroids? As in, they're going like, hey, this is like a Michael King throw day, but we're going to make sure that we treat it as like I mean, it matters, but like,
right. No, I mean, somewhere maybe I see what you're saying. I do. I just think they're going to be really cautious, like with their pitch counts. Like my point is, what's his pitch count going to be? It's not going to be more than 75, is it?
Yeah, no, probably not.
So think about it. You're playing the LA Dodgers with a 75 pitch count. 15 times 5 is 75. Is he going to navigate through 5 innings at 15 pitches per inning is what I'm asking.
Against
that's not going to be easy to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, and that's fine. He could go, if you told me right now, Joe Musgrove threw 4 scoreless innings or 4 innings, 1 run, I'd be like, great. And then maybe Michael King throws 2 innings and all of a sudden it's the 7th inning. I'm just skeptical of how many innings we're going to see, man. It's March 20th. These guys have had short spring trainings. And now Darvish has always been a little different for me, and Musgrove too. I mean, Musgrove's absolutely been a workhorse. Darvish, for whatever reason, I just feel like he falls out of bed and he can just throw, just gets deep into games. Musgrove too, in his career, but I just feel like Darvish maybe can give you an extra inning to start the year than Musgrove. I have no clue. I'm completely speculating. I'm just not expecting long outings. Maybe from the Dodgers either.
I'm more concerned about Darvish than I am Musgrove, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
Just because, I mean, 2 of the last 3 years he's been injured.
I know.
I mean, Joe was injured last year, but the first injury was like a fluke freak thing. And then I think he missed a start because of another fluke freak thing where he was running on the grass, the turf in Mexico City, and burned his feet. Right. And then the shoulder thing happened, and you're like, oh, crap. But didn't need surgery. Knock on wood, everything's fine. So, you know, the 3 years that Joe's been here, when he's healthy, he's been pitching. He pitched very well.
Oh, yeah.
Very well. And his first year here, obviously the no-hitter was great. Second year, all-star, amazing season. That game, 3 performance versus the Mets and then versus the Dodgers. at home, like fantastic. And then last year when he did pitch, he was great. He was great. Darvish, on the other hand, different story. Injuries in 2 of the 3 years. There were a lot of times in his first season after the sticky stuff removal that he just did not pitch well. And then 2022 happened. He was great. 2023 last year, there was a lot of times where he was out there and he just did not look like himself. He just did not look good. So for me, I'm more concerned about Darvish than I am Musgrove. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It definitely makes sense. I mean, your argument is spot on. I mean, last year was weird for Darvish just because of the whole WBC thing, and he just never. I mean,
which you were right on, by the way. You can now say it. You were right about that on you, Darvish.
Which is what I say? I don't even know.
You said that if he had a bad year, you are going to blame it on the WBC, and you were worried of the WBC because you thought it was going to affect his season. And then he started out well.
I hate the W. I mean, it's not that I hate the WBC. The event itself on its face is fine. I hate the effects of the WBC on the season. And I care more about the Major League Baseball season than I do about the WBC. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think 99% of baseball fans in America care about their Major League team more than they do about their WBC team.
But did you see that at bat with Ohtani and Trout?
Yeah, and you're right. You know what? There was some theater there. That's great. And you know what? That's fine. But I just don't care. I'm concerned about the 6-month season and the postseason. And
in hindsight,
the idea that guys get hurt.
In hindsight, it probably hurt Darvish more than anything.
It had to. I mean, he didn't throw it all.
Right.
Yeah, that absolutely impacted him. And he's not getting younger, guys. I mean,
he's almost 40 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's 37. But I mean, they have him for the next 6 years. Am I wrong? It was a 7-year deal. They got him for another 6 years.
Yeah.
So he's got to have a good year. He's got to have a good year.
Has to.
And yeah, Musgrove has to have a good enough year. And he's capable. We've seen it a lot. They just need to, if they don't give you 180 innings, man, they better give you something near it, 160. All of a sudden you start looking at 120 with one of those guys. Like, where are we going to find the additional 60 innings, 70 innings to make up for it? And maybe they can do that. Maybe not. I mean, we haven't even talked about starters 4 and 5.
We haven't, because we don't even know who's on this roster yet.
Mm-hmm.
But with just what's happened in spring, I feel like Johnny Brito has cemented his place in the rotation. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has.
16 innings pitched, I think 13 strikeouts, or is that Matt Waldron? Or I could be wrong.
Waldron's been like Cy Young. Burrito's got a 208 in 4 games, 3 starts, 13 innings, 13 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 16 Ks.
That's what it was. 13 innings, 16 strikeouts.
And Waldron's got a 135 in 13 and a third innings. He has 11 strikeouts, no walks.
So those are your 4 and 5 starters, in my opinion, now.
I guess so.
I thought it was going to be Avila, but Avila has not had a good spring.
And Vasquez is a 6.23.
Vasquez, to me, is probably that long man in your pen.
And again, this is where you got to be careful with these numbers. Like Woo-Suk Go gave up 5 runs in an outing.
Right.
So what am I supposed to now believe? Is that a big deal? You know what I mean? Like, what? Okay, are we going to read into that? What are we going to do? Matsui hasn't pitched since that first day. He's supposed to pitch Tuesday or Wednesday.
Has Wandy Peralta thrown anything in this spring? I can't remember one time seeing Wandy Peralta out there. That big-time left-hand free agent from the Yankees.
He's made 5 relief appearances, dude.
Just because I don't watch every game.
Yeah, 5 innings, 5 games, 1.8. He's allowed 1 run in 5 innings.
Okay, he's fantastic.
So he's great.
What's Robert Suarez done? What's Robert Suarez done in spring?
Robert Suarez this spring, 6 games, 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's done. Right. I'm just kidding. We're like, these numbers don't mean anything. We're like, again, but who knows?
But for the rotation,
this is interesting. So you risk losing him.
Well, maybe he's your long man, because I know they put him in a bullpen situation,
right,
recently, and maybe he's your long man, and you have Vasquez.
Maybe you keep him initially and see before you send him down.
Hey, I'm all good with Brito and Waldron being put in this rotation. Just I'm fine with it. I actually kind of a little bit excited about seeing what they can.
Right, just to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of King this spring, I feel like. but he's going to have a good season too. You know, there's a lot of guys on this roster that are like, okay, you got to have a good season.
What has King done? I'm trying to find.
I think he's pitched well when he's been out there.
Okay, so he's made 2 appearances, 1 start, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, no walks. He's been good.
Yeah.
Limited duty. Let's get to our super here from our buddy Richard Flores. Richard, thank you, man. Appreciate you and your support of the channel. Guys, if you are here, subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. We are a week away. We have watch parties for you. The 20th and the 21st at 3 in the morning. Be here with us. Set your alarm.
Most likely
turn
me.
on YouTube. What's that?
I said most likely me.
Well, Jim will be there.
You said us.
What do you mean?
Are you going to be there?
That's my plan. Not if I'm like traveling somewhere, but yeah, I'll probably be there.
Yeah.
I'm not traveling at 3 a.m. Pacific, to the best of my knowledge. So anyway, thank you, Richard. Please subscribe if you're here year-round content. Smash the like button. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate your super chats. Great way to support our work. Click the $sign below the chat box. Like Richard just says, I would not put any stock in these games. 100%. Both teams a short preparation. Oh, these games. Gotcha. Korea. Long flight. No starter going beyond 5. Come home with no injuries. I kind of agree. I'm not putting any stock in them. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to go down the Richard Flores path. If they go 2-0, great. Doesn't make a season. If they go 0-2, not great. Doesn't make a season. If they go 1-1, who cares? Doesn't make a season. I agree with that. Agree or disagree?
We agree. We aren't talking enough, and Richard makes a good point here. The schedule for these guys in the next 2.5 weeks is going to be insane.
I think we've talked about it.
We have talked about it. We definitely have. But recently we have not talked about it.
Okay.
About these guys are creatures of habit. And when their routine is messed up, it's like the world's ending. Like, no, don't mess with my routine. And to end spring training as quickly as they are going to end, which is in the next 2 days for them before they go to Korea. And then again, like Richard said, long flight. You got to adjust to the time period there. And not only adjust, you got to start playing baseball. You have to get ready for the season. And then once they play those 2 games, fly back, go right into FanFest, go right into exhibitions at Petco Park, go right into the regular season the following week. Like, that's going to be tough. I don't care who you are. That's going to be tough. So is that going to play a role? And is that going to affect them to start the year? We'll see. But it is a thing to just keep an eye on. Like, is the travel to Korea to start their year, everything's accelerated. Is that going to affect this team in any way to start the year?
It's a great question. It absolutely could. And I do think it's a good point. And something we should continue to talk about in the days ahead. Jeremy, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you, man. He says the Padres have been historically bad at managing and promoting their prospects. I like this team. When you say it that way, managing and promoting, do you mean promoting from a marketing perspective or the way in which they've promoted players to the big leagues?
From a promoting perspective, like, socially, they're the greatest team promoting
socially,
their prospects ever.
But does he mean they've done a bad job at knowing when the time is right to promote their prospects?
I think
managing. You can follow up, Jeremy. You don't need to do so with super. Like, do you mean that they have not timed it properly? They haven't fully developed their players?
Because you'd be right about that.
Yeah, or it hasn't panned out. He then writes Turner. Trey
Turner was traded before
was it before he ever got to the big leagues?
Yeah.
Or he just promoting in the big leagues? Yeah, I don't listen. It's fair to be critical of whatever they've done with their prospects. That's true. It's fair to be critical of whatever they've done with their prospects. These very few have hit.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like, you just hope this isn't. I mean, CJ Abrams. The most recent example I can think of, a guy who wasn't ready, got promoted and rushed too quickly and didn't perform. Now he was traded right away, but you know, I don't know if they were expecting, and then he started to struggle and he got put on the bench and he wasn't playing that. And it was like, what are we doing here? And then he got traded. And then last year at the Nationals kind of had a little bit of a breakout. Actually, not kind of. He did have a little, he did have a breakout. I mean, he played pretty well. If you look at his numbers, it's like, that's pretty good for a young guy. And so that's the worry is if Jackson Merrill struggles like CJ Abrams struggled with the Padres, are they going to not only give him time, but can they afford to give him time? Is it hurting the team? This team winning? If the team's winning and Jackson Merrill is struggling, then they can probably say, all right, look, we're just going to let this guy work through it. But if they're losing and Jackson Merrill is struggling, like, you got a problem.
Right. This isn't the first time in the last decade, and Jim could attest to this, even working like on the Padres side, so to speak, back in the day, like over the last 10 years. Like, this isn't the first time we've been sold a bill of goods on prospects. It's just not. I mean, there's countless examples. The 2016 international class, the prospect class that included like Austin Hedges and Manny Margot.
Dude, I was,
there's a lot of examples, a lot of examples over the last decade of promising prospects that haven't panned out with the Padres.
When I was over there, someone told me that they thought that Hunter Renfroe was like the next big thing.
Carlos Asuaje. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot for,
oh man,
there's been, and we're missing a number over the, it
was a big time prospect that they promoted heavily, like socially wise, because of where he was ranked in their farm system, and they brought him up to second base. I remember the first game he played, he like made an amazing defensive play at second base, and then he completely fizzled out, and they traded him. I just go back to what Eric Lauer said about how he was treated here with, and how prospects were treated here, that if they didn't perform right away, then the Padres are like, what the hell? They're like upset.
They don't have that luxury, quote unquote. It's not a luxury. They can't even do that anymore. So maybe it's to their advantage. Like Eric Krupner with Darren was it Friday was like, we're a small market team. He didn't say that, but he's like, we need to work in players from our system.
That was not great.
Yeah. After a year ago,
that interview was good for Eric, honestly.
Well, what he said is true. It might have been a truth serum moment, but he's right. They can't continue to go the free agent route. They need to develop from within. Need. NEED in caps. They have to. All good organizations do, even with money.
I mean, going back to that interview, there was a point in the interview where I was very confused because Darren asked a really good question about like, hey, look, you guys are building this new Gallagher square that's costing you what, $20+ million to make. Is there like a separate fund for stuff to upgrade the stadium? Then it's different from the major league team, or is everything the same because you're like one organization, And if so, did you guys choose? And he didn't ask it this way, but it was kind of implying like, so did you guys choose Gallagher Square, or did you like over Juan Soto, or what? And he didn't answer the question. He was like, I'm not talking about finances, but yet we're
right. I mean, I'll speak for Eric Krupner. I haven't been given the authority to do it, so I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
I'm going to speculate. If any penny spent on Gallagher Square had any negative impact on their major league payroll, then that's utter craziness.
Fire everybody?
No, it's not that. But you don't see what I'm saying? Like, no. Anything ballpark improvement related, capital expense related cannot impact payroll. Well, I mean, in the major leagues.
They did not, and you know this, they did not want to pay Bob Melvin $4 million. But Bob Melvin does not count towards their actual payroll.
So did they? Okay, so in the savings from Schilt to Melvin, let's say it's a $3 million savings, right? 4-1. I'm making it up. Did they take that 3 and put it into grass features in the lawn?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to your point of like X not affecting Y. And that's a good, like, it's a good point. Like, what? Then why would you be so concerned about having to pay Bob Melvin $4+ million a year?
But was that the only concern? Was there concern because these two wanted to rip each other's heads off?
Well, it
And
was
it made it
that.
more convenient.
No, you're right. It definitely was that as the number one reason. But we heard a lot that not only was that a big reason, but another reason was they just did not want to pay him $4 million. And they were okay with saying goodbye, Bob, and goodbye to having to pay someone $4 million.
You know, another reason why you wouldn't pay someone $4 million is if you don't think you're World Series caliber.
Yeah, that too.
But we'll see. I mean, Mike Schilt has managed good clubs, you know.
I think he can be good.
We'll see. That one, Homie's Garage, thank you. He says, where's the show Fridays during the season? I don't think we've announced that yet, have we? Do you know they're working on something for Fridays, or did you even realize that?
Oh, I know they're working on something. It's just the question will be if they actually get something done.
I think it's done. I'll text me after if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I do think the first day of the season, I don't think this has been announced, but I'm going to announce it. I think the first day of the season is Blind Burrow. Opening day, March 28th. It's Blind Burrow.
You mean?
Did you know that?
No, I did know that.
But do you know where it's going to be on Fridays?
I have a guess.
Okay. Text me afterwards.
And it's not Blind Burrow and it's not Fair Play. I know that. Stay
tuned. JD's third, but we'll announce that once we have it. Once it's like a signed deal, we'll tell you.
And I'm sure the station will have this big thing and then social media wise and graphics and everything. And I'm sure we'll have like promos running all day about where we'll be 100%. Broadcasting stuff. Yeah. It's on lockdown. People have to taken care of.
All right. JD's third. Thank you. He says, last year we said it's early until October again. Who did? Not us.
No, we didn't say that. Who did? Not us. But like April 15th, and we were going pretty hard to this team. Or whenever it was.
Dude. It was like April 3rd. We were going pretty hard at the team, to be truthful. No, we're not playing that game, guys. Of course not. Not us. I mean, people will play that game. Definitely. We're not playing that game.
No, we didn't play it last year. We ain't going to play it this year.
I don't think we've ever really played it. We just tell you what's happening in real time. All right. We're going to get back to it in a moment. We do want to remind you about our partner here on the Wrap-Up Show, our good friends over at Aura. Will, the co-founder of Aura, if you're looking to get healthier this year, Aura can help with all of their plant-based nutritional products, whatever you need. They have something to get you and your family healthier, like the probiotic I take every day from my friends at Aura for digestion and heart health and mental health and more. You need to pick up your plant-based probiotic from Aura. They have pre-workout supplements. They have omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, you can take the plant-based supplement, the omega-3 oil. They have proteins for after workouts. They have sleep pills and immunity pills. I have sleep pills and immunity pills right now in my fridge from Aura. Whatever it is, click the link in the description down below or go to ora.organic. Support our channel. Get healthier. ora.organic or click the link in the description down below.
Yeah, it's still, early-ish in the new year. If you want to start up your New Year's resolution on March 11th. But still, if you are looking for supplements to take to live a healthier lifestyle, if you're looking for maybe a new pre-workout to take before your workouts, or maybe if you're looking for a new protein powder just to take every day to get some quick protein in your body, Aura is the healthiest place to go. Their pre-workouts, like I said, delicious raspberry lemonade flavor, awesome. Pre-workouts, the healthiest on the market, plant-based. Go there right now, www.ora.organic. Pick up some stuff, and you'll thank us later.
Is anyone curious about Manny Machado's field debut?
Me.
Jim is. Like, he hasn't appeared in the field, which, again, isn't overly surprising. It's March 11th.
Right? Like, we kind of knew, right?
Yeah, we were also led down a path of it's Manny.
And also, we wouldn't have been surprised if not.
Correct. No, I agree. The only reason I even bring it up is to go back to last September. And he had a chance to shut his season down. Now, I don't know. He might be in the field March 28th, and who cares if he's DHing for 2 games? I mean, no one. And I'm not going to be critical if he's DHing 2 games. Shoot, I'm not going to be critical probably if he's DHing 20 and if he's hitting. But if he is DHing the first 20 games, and maybe that's an overreach based on what we know, then I mean, that's not ideal, especially considering that he's only 20 days late at that point. And he could have just shut it down when they were 14 games under 500 or whatever it was in the beginning of September. But no, he didn't want to shut it down until they were officially eliminated. Understood that on its face is a team type thing you'd say. That's a team first move, you would think. But we said it in real time. Nobody wanted that 2023 fake pennant chase to impact 2024. So that's why I'm more curious about when Manny Machado is going to be in the field for this team.
I would have been more concerned if he wasn't able to hit.
Right. No, he should be fine to hit.
His glove is great. His bat is more important.
Definitely.
It just is. So we know he's going to be out there as this team's DH to start the season. And we know that he's going to be hitting at least for this team in April.
Right. Definitely.
So that's why it's not, to me, the biggest worry in the world that he's not in the field. Because his bat is more valuable to this team and needs to be like really good this year. Like he needs to have a patented Manny Machado season. He just does. He can't. Last year was a bad Manny Machado year all the way around. From the clubhouse to the field to everything. It was just bad. This team can't afford for him to play like he did last year and be like he was last year. So him getting the surgery when he did last season, the only way I would have been upset about it is if he was missing time and his bat wasn't in the lineup, which isn't the case here.
No, I think that's spot on. I mean, it's going to be hard to be critical, especially if he produces in any way. Like if he didn't play the first 15 games in the field, but hit 299,
yeah,
you'd be like, come on. I mean, that's good productivity. I mean, that doesn't tell you what he's done from a power perspective. Like this spring, and again, it doesn't mean anything. The only reason you'll read anything into it is because he is coming off injury. So you want to make sure he's healthy. So that does matter. I'm all for saying that. He's 6 for 20. He's had a couple of doubles. So he's had a fine spring. Fine spring. Now, does elbow zap power? I don't know the answer to that. Like, is he gonna, he's not the prodigious guy. He's not the 50. I mean, there's 5 guys like that.
He'll never be that
He's
guy.
the 30 home run guy. And remember, it took him a while to get to 30 last year. Remember, we were very skeptical of him getting anywhere near that number a year ago.
Right.
So, there's
like that was like his goal for last season once the season went off the rails.
Like,
just get to 30. Just get to 30 home runs.
And is that what he finished at?
I don't know. I don't
think he
remember.
He had to get to 30. In my mind, he got to 30.
He got to 30. I know that.
Oh, yeah, but what was the final number? Yeah. His final number was 30.
Okay, right at 30.
So his last 3 years, 31, 30. Wait, hold on. No, 28, 32, 30. The last time he hit more than 32 home runs in a season was 2018. He hit 37. He's never hit more than 37 in a season. Again, that's good power. Make no mistake, especially in today's baseball. But you know what I mean? Like he's just that's where he sits. He sits at 30. He doesn't sit at 40. He sits at 30.
And that's fine.
And that's who he's been as a Padre. Yeah, it's good. No, it's good.
If you have an 880 OPS with 31 home runs and 110 RBIs and 35 doubles or whatever, hit 270 with an on base of like 360.
Right.
Great. I know that those numbers don't match up, but you get my point. Of like, like he doesn't have to be a 40 home run guy, and he's never been a 40 home run guy, and he's never really been even like a 35 plus home run guy. He's a 30 to 35. That's what he'll give you, and that's exactly what they need from him.
Yeah, what's interesting is like when he was in Baltimore, okay, young hitter, 35, 37, 33.
And Baltimore's not the greatest hitting ballpark either. It's like almost worse than Petco, right? Comerica?
No, what are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of someone
Camden
else.
Yards?
Camden Yards, not Comerica Park, you idiot. Camden Yards? I don't know. I thought it was
Camden Yards is a good hitter's yard, man.
I thought it wasn't a great ballpark to hit in. I guess I was wrong.
I remember my first time hitting at Camden Yards.
Me too.
But in Sandy, it's interesting though, because ballpark factors don't really impact Manny Machado. It's just who he is. Again, San Diego, 32. I think it's 16 in 60 games. That's a massive number in 2020. Like
Yeah.
massive. Could hit 40 easy there.
Yeah.
But yeah, 30 in full seasons with San Diego, 32, 28, 32, 30 for an average of, 30.5 home runs. And that's what he's going to hit this year. He's going to hit 30 home runs.
If he's
He's not
healthy,
going to
yeah.
hit 40. He's
Right.
not going to hit 18. Hopefully he's going to hit 30 plus home
He
runs.
just needs to. He's the type of player that, like, yeah, he'll get his numbers, but those numbers need to come in like big moments. Like, because last year they didn't.
Who hits more home runs this year, Nando or Manny?
Tatis.
So Tatis a year ago.
I'm banking on a 40 home run season from Tatis.
Yeah, I am too. He had 25 last year.
I gave a little bit of a pass to Tatis last year.
Yeah.
And like that's what we said is like if he comes back this season and you see like 26 home runs and an OPS in the 700s, then we're gonna have to start a discussion. But
yeah,
until it happens,
that just goes to show how hard it is to produce in the major leagues. Now Tatis was off injury in 17 months, suspension, yada yada yada. Right. He had a 770 OPS.
Right.
Like it's hard to hit in the big leagues. That's Fernando Tatis Jr. Guy's a brilliant offensive player.
One of the most gifted athletes in the sport.
Yeah, his age 19, 20, 21 seasons are like unprecedented in baseball history. Now, again, he was coming off injury and suspension, and that could make it, a challenge.
James, I don't hate Manny. Stop with that. Stop it. I don't hate Manny. I don't. Stop. It's like
yeah, no, you don't.
Dumbest narrative ever. And I'm sorry, James, but it really is. Like I can guess what? I'm critical of Manny. Yes. Do I hate him? Absolutely not. But I'm critical.
No, you're critical of him when he doesn't produce.
Yeah. There's a big difference there.
Right.
Just because you're critical of somebody doesn't mean you're a hater.
Right. And yeah, I mean that, again, last September, it's not the best look when you say, what is this high school baseball? And you're 14 games under 500 and you're having a really down year, like from a player's perspective. Now, again, after that quote, they actually somehow played well the way, whatever they did. But
I don't even count those, John. Like I don't even.
I know that's my point. That's my point. No, I agree completely. Okay, guys. While we have a moment, we do want to remind you about our partner here on the wrap-up show, Underdog Fantasy. Okay, you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That is PADSWRAP. You're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Click the link in the description down below, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com, or use the Underdog Fantasy app. 3 for 3, 6 times your money. 4 for 4 in pick'ems, 10 times. 5 for 5 in pick'ems, 20 times your money in one single night. All right. Double your first deposit up to $100. UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. Guys, it's so easy, isn't it, Jim? Here it is on your screen right now. Every sport you can imagine. NBA, they have Major League Baseball spring training. They have college basketball. They have NHL. Obviously, they have football during the season. They have Major League Baseball during the season. It's as simple as going higher or lower. You might like Tobias Harris to have higher than 16.5 points against the Knicks, like we do. And then you pair it with, of course, Pascal Siakam. There's no way he's scoring 20.5 points tomorrow. Boom, 20, pays 60. It's so easy. It's so simple. The best and easiest way to play fantasy sports, Jim. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Double your first deposit up to $100. Look at my account. I'm like winning somehow as well.
Yeah, it's such an easy way to win money, and it's also fun to play in the process. Because you can pretty much, go and do plays from every sport. You can have
you can combine.
You can combine it. You can have a baseball play. You can have a basketball play. You can have a college basketball play, right? You can do multiple different sports at once. So that's what's the fun part about it. And it's easy, higher or lower for everything. And it's as simple as could be. Promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Use it right now. First $100 matched. And go download the app right now.
Yeah, seriously, you need to do it. I mean, the season, especially for Korea, like download the app. Use promo code PODSWRAP. Click the link in the description down below, or download the app. It's free money. It's fun to play. You can play along with us. So do that right now. Promo code PODSWRAP. Before we get out of here, would you like to share any details for our viewers live or on replay about your Las Vegas weekend?
Well, if anybody's looking for some crazy story didn't happen. Don't you feel
Boring.
like? Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah,
I'm
I don't know
kidding.
what like. Was Brent
It's a
really
bachelor
like?
party. They
Was Brent
expect
like really
craziness.
like? Oh, it was a lame bachelor party. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I
He
went
doesn't.
to. I know. I get it, but
He doesn't care.
like, went to Vegas, had really good food, went golfed at a really nice course, stayed at a really nice hotel. Shout out Circa.
Right. Yeah. It's a great spot.
We went and did an escape room experience, which was awesome. I feel like you go to Vegas, it's like you do a show or you do an experience or you do something, and then you gamble and you lose all your money and you contemplate life and you hate it and you drink and then you go to the pool, the epic pool at Circa, have drinks, watch the giant 146 screen TV they have there.
Yeah.
And walk around and, fight somebody with a lightsaber. That's what happened.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, that's what a bachelor party is for. Before we get out of here, Fritz says, "Boys, where's my wrap-up hat?" Now, have you ordered one? But here's what I would say: if you want a wrap-up show hat,
no strippers. Click
the link in the description down below because we have brand new John and Jim 98 merchandise. That's Jim before he does his hair. Okay. We have John and Jim Today era merchandise for you. We have, but wait, there's more. We have wrap-up show. And I was wearing a cap. The last wrap-up show we did. We have There I Am with my wrap-up show sweatshirt now available. We have wrap-up show hats for you.
Yes.
So we got everything.
I got it right here.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Yes, thank you, Jim.
But the black one looks pretty cool. The baseball cap looks really cool, and the trucker hat I like a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. So pick something up for the baseball season. Support our work. We would appreciate it. Again, it is available. Click the link in the description. What do you got?
We also have. Hold on. We also have. Get this off the screen.
Get what off the screen? Oh, this? Okay.
It's got some stickers. So if you want some stickers, John and Jim stickers, put it on your water bottle, put it on your computer, put it on your car, whatever. John and Jim. Here we go. John and Jim sticker. There we go. Then we got some wrap-up show stuff as well, stickers to put on stuff. So yeah, here we go. Thanks, Calvin.
Yeah.
It's the Padres font that John thought we were going to get sued for.
Okay, in terms of I just put a merch link in the live chat if you're here live. And I'll put it in the comment section down below for people here on replay. Someone said any free wrap-up gear. I will say this, no, but those John and Jim circle stickers, if you come find us like opening day at Blind Burrow or around San Diego throughout the course of the baseball season, because we'll be out and about forever doing live remotes, we will have those circle stickers available because we ordered those. So we will have those. So come find us out and about in San Diego, and we'll give you a circle. John,
again, we'll also announce everything too on social media.
Of course, we're going to be.
Yeah,
Jim's name needs to be bigger on the logo. Just John and then Jim. I love that. All right, guys. This is what was I going to say? Okay? So you're going to go. Jim is going to go. He doesn't even realize this. Jim's going to go 4 consecutive weeks without working 5 days on the radio because he worked 4 days 2 weeks ago and then ended up at like the hospital.
Yeah.
Last week you were gone 3 days, bachelor party and more, kidney stone and more. This week you're not going to work Thursday because we have a Mountain West tournament game, San Diego State, right in the middle of the afternoon during John and Jim. Next week we have Westwood 1 NCAA tournament coverage that'll keep us off the radio a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do the next time you have a 5-day week? It's not going to be easy.
The question is, when are they going to fire me knowing that I don't
You
work?
don't do anything?
Yeah.
Right. I think you got time. How much time? I don't know. But
hey, man, I didn't. You
didn't come up with the schedule.
No, I mean, imagine if, like Darren always talks about it back in the day when he was on the flagship on 1090,
right?
That, for the baseball season, like midday shows and afternoon shows, they miss.
Oh, it's the best.
They get a lot of days off because
So many.
there's so many baseball games.
Exactly.
So I don't feel bad.
We
in the
don't have that.
slightest.
Exactly. We never have that.
Right. We never have that. So to have it for next week, right? Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week
Hey,
because of the
I'll
tournament.
gladly take it. And I know you will too until the Aztecs play. But you're traveling.
100%. And like Fritz says, if Jim gets fired,
everyone gets
happy.
Right.
All right, guys. Again, if you're here live on replay, please subscribe here on Content for Padres Fans. We'll be back later this week because the Padres are leaving for Korea in 48 hours. So we'll get you ready for March 20th. Again, make sure to subscribe. We'll have a watch party for you March 20th at 3 in the morning Pacific, 6 Eastern. Subscribe. All right. Join us for hours for our watch parties, March 20th and 21st, right here on the wrap-up show. Follow us at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super thanks if you're here on replay. We appreciate those. Click the $sign below the chat box. And again, join us on San Diego Sports 760 and find John and Jim on YouTube by searching for John and Jim 760. Much more on the Padres opener coming up in about a week tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific on San Diego Sports 760. Please support our partners. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you have an insurance need, click the link in the description down below. If you're looking to get healthier, ora.organic, click the link in the description down below. And again, use promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP, underdogfantasy.com, or click the link in the description down below. Simple Pick'em's, the best and easiest place to play is at Underdog Fantasy, and you can play during the Korea series as well. Coming up next week for Jim, I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Thanks, guys.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye.